welcome to Transformative or Traditional. We are here to verify or debunk current news headlines, events, or policies. Here to help us is our guest, Michael Tkautz, along with his expertise in impact marketing. Now, Mike is the co-founder of Major Impact, where he is currently working towards their B Corp certification. He is also CEO of Changemakers Financial. Mike empowers individual brands and organizations with similar social equity values and meaningful mission to work together towards a better future. Our topic today is two things: impact marketing and impact investing. So what is that? Impact marketing is marketing intelligently, utilizing current technological tools and understanding consumer behavior to reach individuals where they are. Mike's passion for creating an impact doesn't end in marketing, but continues to investing, where people have the power to choose to invest in a sustainable future on an individual level. Mike, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, are you ready to decide transformative or traditional?
I certainly am.
All right. So our first article comes from Harvard Law School Forum on Corporate Governance, Board Readiness for Shareholder Activism. Now, shareholder activism is nothing new, but what happens when investors utilize their voice within a board to commit on practices and influence ESG goals in a way they haven't before? This article shares strategies that organizations can use while working with shareholders to determine a mutually agreeable path forward. Now, shareholders are beginning to speak up in the name of ESG, and corporations are being forced to listen. Is this transformative or traditional?
I'd say it's a bit of both. I would say it's certainly traditional, but it's really moving towards transformative, with a lot of boards repositioning themselves. ESG should have always been a key part of shareholder activism, but it's certainly really good to see this movement happening. But I'd say it's kind of traditional for now, but it is changing to transformative.
Okay, so from the same place, ESG Regulatory Reform. Now, considering ESG regulatory reform in the EU may act as a powerful case study, while North America may still be heading down a similar path. Mike, we'd like you to comment on the SFDR, the Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation. The SFDR mandates transparency and accountability to organizations regarding their sustainable and financial practices in a way they have never had to disclose before. Is it transformative or traditional?
I'd say that's transformative. We really do need more accountability and transparency within the financial markets to prevent greenwashing. Imposing mandatory ESG disclosure obligations on asset managers and other financial market participation is really a huge win, especially with the recent announcement, I believe this morning, the $130 billion committed from major financial institutions around the world, all 450 of them, through the GFANZ relationship or alliance that is happening in COP26 in Glasgow. So it certainly is transformative, especially for EU. They're always ahead of the game in many areas. So that's really good to see.
Okay, next, CVS Health launches a $25 million ad campaign focused on healthy. Now, CVS has taken a bold step in reintroducing themselves online. What may seem like a feel-good advertising campaign on general healthiness is also a display of the evolution of the company as more than just a pharmacy. The idea that CVS can accompany an individual on all stages of their health journey promises an exciting future for accessible healthcare. Do you think this is transformative or traditional?
I think more along the lines of traditional. A marketing campaign to promote their evolution products and services. For any large business or corporation, it's a natural growth, movement up through their development in their overall ecosystem. Yes, CVS created a digital scheduling system for COVID testing and expanded a program for counseling services during the pandemic. But this should just be what companies do during a global catastrophe. And showboating it, with all due respect to CVS, and they have done incredible things, more along the lines of traditional than what we're speaking of.
Okay. So next article, this climate transformation platform lets companies invest in bolder alternative offsets. So it's no secret that all carbon offsetting options are not created equal. Corporations now have the opportunity through Milkwire to invest in impactful and legitimate carbon offsetting projects. Is this incentivized impact investing opportunity for corporations transformative or traditional?
I love this. It's transformative. It gives companies the ability to choose their carbon offsetting or their carbon removal projects instead of the carbon credit system that it's a little bit difficult to track and to be fully transparent. I know the policymakers are doing their absolute best to have the transparency behind it, but this allows companies a different alternative.
Okay, now I'm really excited about our last article that I want to ask you about. It has to do with a very important issue. Greenwashing probes prompt panic among ESG funds. There's a big reputational risk. So pressure is on for ESG funds to perform adequate diligence and accountability throughout their portfolio. With over 500 ESG funds emerging in 2020 alone, there's a lot to lose for those funds who don't stick to their sustainable investment claims. Is this rising pressure transformative or traditional?
Yeah, this one was a difficult one, right? Because greenwashing is such a hard thing, and with ESG is still relatively new in the grand scheme of things. Greenwashing has been going on for a very, very long time. It's unfortunate that greenwashing is still on the shores of ESG funds. And this is why I created Changemaker Financial is to kind of work around that, providing everyday people the true alternative, the true transparency behind it. And this goes really into the Glasgow Financial Alliance for net zero and the major financial institutions. The $130 billion that's also committed. But this is another one of those. It's like kind of in the middle of traditional transformative, but I think it's more on the traditional sense, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in this area for reporting, metrics, and accountability and transparency. Once those have been solidified, which of course will take a very long time to do so and a lot of work, that it's on the verge of being transformative. I'm seeing it happen. It's absolutely amazing.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for diving in and debunking ESG and SDG items today. But before we let you go and continue to do transformative work, can you tell us one thing that you're focused on right now that you're excited about and we can share with our community?
A lot of exciting things. For major impact, we're working with social and environmentally conscious businesses, and it's amazing working with like-minded individuals, working with a number of companies that are spearheading change and pioneers in their industry. It's really comforting to know that there are so many individuals out there looking to make change. And as part of the growing network and community, it's important for all of us to get together and rise the tide equally to push the needle forward, or in climate change, put the needle back. But it's so encouraging. It's really encouraging.
100%. We're all about collaboration and working together. So how can people follow what you're doing?
Well, you can certainly, I'm more of a LinkedIn person. If you just type in Michael Tkautz, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get into Twitter, especially my digital marketers. If you need to get into Twitter, you need to get into Twitter more. Or you can just go right to our website at majorimpact.ca. And then for the investments, it's changemakersfinancial.com, in which we will connect you with responsible investment advisors. Right now, only in Canada, but we're working on breaking out into the US as well.
All right, right on. Well, that is it for this week's Transformative or Traditional. If you'd like more insight into implementing positive ESG and SDG outcomes, follow Systems Changer on social media or dive into our community think tank of experts. You can find that at systemschanger.com, and that's changer without the E. All right, we will see you next week.